couple of days. Well, as today, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, together with our neighboring islands of Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, were placed on hurricane watch. And this is because tropical storm Beryl at the time was showing tremendous signs of development, very fast and rapid intensification, very quick forward moving speed, and this system is expected to affect us within the next 48 hours. So as of 8 p.m. tonight, Grenada and its dependencies, the state of Grenada, has been upgraded to what we call a hurricane warning, the conditions hurricane warning. And a hurricane warning means that hurricane conditions could be expected within the next 48 hours. Now let's look at some details. The position at 8 p.m., 10.2 degrees north latitude, 50.3 degrees west longitude. That puts us about 680 miles to the southeast of Grenada. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 80 miles an hour, which now makes Beryl a Category 1 hurricane. Beryl is moving towards the west at 22 miles an hour. Its minimum central pressure has now fallen to 990 millibars. Now, on its current track, and based on its current position, the eye of Beryl is expected to pass through the Grenadine Islands early Monday morning. Tropical storm force extends about 10 miles from the center. But Beryl has been behaving in a rather unusual position, an unusual state, wobbling slightly. So that's one of the reasons why hurricane warnings have been issued for Barbados to the north, Grenada to the south. Okay? By the time Beryl reaches our position, she is expected to be a major hurricane, a Category 3 hurricane with winds reaching 115 miles an hour. Okay? So it is a system that we will have to pay close attention to, and something we cannot take very lightly. So just to repeat the position, at 8 a.m., 10.2 degrees north, 50.3 degrees west, moving westward at 22 miles an hour. Maximum sustained winds are now 80 miles an hour. For those of you who have been following, at 5 p.m., maximum sustained winds were 75 miles an hour. So rapid intensification is being experienced, and it's something that was predicted. Beryl is expected, as I said before, to become a major hurricane before it reaches the island chain. Okay? We can expect a deterioration in conditions from as early as Sunday night and into the day Monday. Okay? As you can see from the screen, Beryl is closing very quickly, becoming better organized. Okay? As the hurricane specialist at Miami said, described Beryl as a small, very compact, but yet still very dangerous system. The high sea surface temperatures are right now fueling that rapid intensification, and that's what makes Beryl even more dangerous at this time. And Beryl is approaching our island chain, and all systems have been activated, and you will hear more about that from the National Hurricane Center. Sorry, from NAGMA so far. So just bear this in mind, folks. Grenada is now under hurricane warning. We were placed under hurricane watch earlier today, but as of 8 p.m., we are now under hurricane warning. And we can expect deterioration in our conditions from as early as Sunday night. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tima, for your updates. We now move to Dr. Walters from NADMA.
All right, good evening, and we welcome you to this briefing. A meeting of the National Emergency Advisory Council was convened at 6 p.m. and the National Emergency Advisory Council is chaired by the Prime Minister, and we had all sectors represented and the various subcommittees, the chairpersons of the various subcommittees of the National Emergency Advisory Council, and there were discussions, and out of the decisions, we had that the National Emergency Operations Center, which is the Operations Center here at NADMA, will be activated from 12 o'clock on Sunday. So the National Emergency Operations Center, where the various subcommittees are represented to make decisions based on what is happening with the weather. And the Operations Center will be activated from 12 noon. The District Emergency Operation Centers, we have one at Black Bay, one at River Sally, one at Carriacou, one at Petit Martinique, and then we have another one at Pearls. These District Emergency Operation Centers, where the district committees function, will be activated also at noon on Sunday. So all shelters will be activated at noon on Sunday. So the shelters, emergency shelters, and you can find a list of emergency shelters on our Facebook page, and we have also circulated a list of emergency shelters across the country on our various platforms. We've circulated that. So all shelters, the District Emergency Operation Centers, and the National Emergency Operation Center, which is located here at Monjulu, will be activated at 12 noon on Sunday. We also have that water will be turned off at around 9 p.m. So from 9 o'clock on Sunday, water will be turned off. So we're asking residents to ensure that you store enough clean drinking water and water for other purposes. So again, beginning at 9 p.m. on Sunday, water will be turned off. So we're urging you to ensure that you have sufficient water. And our updates will be provided frequently. So we have every 3 hours, and we'll provide updates as it becomes necessary. It may be less than 3 hours, but we have it scheduled for every 3 hours or as it becomes necessary. We have also asked the supermarkets, or we're making a request to supermarkets that you open on Sunday, so that those who need additional supplies will have that opportunity to do so on Sunday. So the National Disaster Management Agency will continue to update the population on the situation with Hurricane Beryl, and we'll provide information so you can make the necessary decisions that will save lives and reduce damage to property. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walters. We now move to the Honorable Prime Minister to make some remarks.
Thank you, Press Secretary. Good evening to the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This year marks the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Ivan, and we are greeted very early in the hurricane season with Grenada being placed on the hurricane warning. This is not a drill, this is serious, and therefore we are urging all our citizens to heed the recommendations, to heed the directives that NADMA will issue from time to time. It is vitally important that we take the necessary precautions to safeguard our properties, to safeguard our life, and to ensure that Grenada can be resilient throughout this process. We certainly will ask you to pray and to prepare. Those are the two things that are within our control. We have no control over the path of the hurricane, and we are certainly praying that it does not cause any extensive damage to Grenada or to any of the neighboring islands. However, the trajectory suggests that the hurricane will pass at least over the Grenadine Islands, and therefore that includes Grenada. And so we want to emphasize that the Met Office has indicated that the hurricane is likely to strengthen before it reaches the Grenadine Islands. Currently it is a Category 1. The projections are that it is likely to go to as high as a Category 3. And since we do not have control over the water temperature and other factors that may drive the strength of the hurricane, we cannot underestimate that it may even strengthen further. The projections are also showing that it is moving very quickly. And so it is important for us to take the necessary precautions immediately, starting from tonight. Although we are activating on a national scale from midday tomorrow, all of the stakeholders who were here at the NEAC meeting have already begun to activate their hurricane response. From the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Royal Grenada Police Force, the airport, private businesses, NOASA, GRENLEC, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, and all of the other stakeholders are fully briefed. We expect them to work with their respective teams to make sure that information is disseminated clearly as to what is taking place. I want to re-emphasize that it is important for us as citizens to pay attention to the official briefings of NADMA and the Meteorological Office. We want to urge you to refrain from spreading hysteria or panic, and to check and fact-check any information that is circulated about the hurricane on social media, because we want to make sure that our citizens are getting accurate information. As has been indicated, water will be turned off from 9 p.m. on Sunday, so we are urging you as much as possible to stock up and to fill up on water during that period. NOASA will remain sensitive, and we will continue to monitor the situation. Of course, if the weather is not difficult and if there isn't too much rainfall, then we would expect that they would reactivate and turn back on the water quickly. But in the event that does not happen, we want to ensure that the citizens are adequately stocked with water. Of course, the hospital and other health facilities at NOASA will provide will ensure that water is available. Trucks as well will be available for the supply of water. The trajectory of the storm suggests that the northern part of Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, St. Patrick, St. Andrew, St. Mark are more likely to be impacted by the storm than the southern area. That's the trajectory. We are expecting that there will be a further update at 11 p.m. tonight, and that there will be further updates throughout the course of the morning. And so it is the entire country that is on the watch, on the warning, sorry, but I want to emphasize to the residents of St. Patrick, St. Andrew, St. Mark, and Carriacou and Petit Martinique that you need to start taking immediate action to ensure that you can protect yourself, protect your property, and your loved ones. So we are on the hurricane warning. All sectors of the society are fully briefed, and NADMA will continue to provide you with information from time to time, and as Mr. Walters says, in any case, on a 3-hour basis at a minimum. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We may have some media personnel online. We'll take those questions now if they have any.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Good night, Mr. PM.
Good evening.
I want us to talk about the stakeholders. What is the directive, at least to the private sector, re-employees and their attendance to work, maybe Sunday into Monday?
Well, for the most part, supermarkets, we're asking them to open on Sunday. So clearly, in light of that, for supermarkets that don't normally open on Sunday, we would expect that they would do so, and in those circumstances their employees will obviously have to work for the purpose of ensuring that the public can stock up on supplies, stock up on medicine, stock up on water and other vital supplies. Save for supermarkets and save for GRENLEC, the police, etc., we do not expect anyone who would not normally work on a Sunday to be working on Sunday. We are going to give a more definitive position on work on Monday, subject to the trajectory of the storm storm as well as the strength of the storm as those details come by Sunday morning.
Okay, thank you for that. I want to go to Mr. Tima. How is the system expected to impact us in terms of the hazards, and how intense will those hazards be?
Okay. By the time the system reaches our longitude and latitude, it is forecasted to have maximum sustained winds of 115 miles an hour. Now that is a major hurricane of category 3. So we now have maximum hurricane force winds extending about 10 or 20 miles from the center, and hurricane force winds extending a further 60 miles or so. So by the time it reaches us, we can expect a broadening of that radius, okay, for those storm, for those force of winds, okay. So a major hurricane, 115 miles sustained wind, you would expect quite a bit of wind there. Rainfall is the other major concern. All models indicating that rainfall amount of like 100 millimeters would be expected in the path of the storm. Okay. Now, if you check what 100 millimeters of rainfall is, that is like the rainfall we had for the last 2 or 3 months coming together in about a 12-hour period. So based on model guidance, heavy rainfall is expected. Okay? And of course, that is within the path of the storm. Now, we have to be also careful. And we have to remember now the storm is not just a point, it's an area of affected weather, okay? And even though that storm is categorized, even though that hurricane is categorized as a small system at the moment, yeah, we do expect quite a bit of action within a relatively wide expanse of area. Okay, so we will continue to be hopeful that our islands, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, are spared, but we cannot help but over and emphasize the point that once we expect, or once we go under hurricane warning, hurricane force conditions would be expected in some parts of our island. And seeing that the eye is expected to pass through the Grenadines, the northern part of our island have to be very, very much more concerned. Petite Martinique, Carriacou, for example, our main concern areas are them.
Thank you, Mikey. Do you have another question?
Okay, yes, sure. There might be people who may end up in some sort of difficulty during the storm. Is there a recommended contact or a channel that persons should call or should contact in the event that they are in some sort of trouble and need immediate assistance, emergency assistance?
Oh, okay. You can. So if you are in some sort of a problem, you can call the office here at NADMA 440-8390-94, or you can call the Royal Grenada Police Force, or you can dial 911. That will take you to some emergency, some person answering to respond to your emergency.
All right, thank you. Linda Stricker, you have a question. You may proceed.
I believe I saw my colleague, Calistro Shire, hand was up before mine, so I you two, and then I'll take after her. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Calistro?
Good evening. Thank you so much, Madam Press Secretary. Dr. Walters, are you ordering any sort of mandatory evacuation for people on the coast? I think I saw something about dangerous surges. Is there any sort of mandatory evacuation?
No, not at this time. We have not. Yes, we will not order any mandatory evacuation at this time.
Thank you. Next question, Linda, are you ready for your question? Or Calista, do you have another question?
I'm ready for my question.
Okay, go ahead, Linda Straker.
Dr. Walters, can you share with us what is the purpose of the district, what we call them? The district centers. What are their role in this scenario?
All right, thank you. So the District Emergency Operation Centers, that is where the district teams will function from so that they can provide services to the various communities where they are.
Services such as what?
All right, so they have various subcommittees responsible for transport, for health, for shelter, for relief distribution, security. So those subcommittees are responsible for providing services in the community. So remember, we have shelters being activated. So the district teams are responsible for those things at the district level, and we have 17 districts across Grenada, and Petit Martinique.
Right. My other question is to the Prime Minister. Can he share with us what is Grenada covered for under the Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility for this hurricane season, please?
I can't give you the technical details at this time without actually checking the policy, but it's catastrophic risk. The degree of catastrophe is going to have to be determined by the type of damage that the island suffers.
All right, thank you.
So is it not clear whether or not, to the best of your knowledge, it covers for flooding or it covers for category or category 2 hurricane?
It's not the category of hurricane, it's the degree of catastrophe, the degree of damage that is done. I don't have the policy before me, and I can't give you the technical details on it. I can certainly undertake to get it from the Ministry of Finance, and if you're interested in that level of detail, you can have it during the week. All things being equal, that we spared the hurricane on Monday.
All right, thank you.
Well,
thank you,
I look
Linda.
forward to that.
All right.
No problem.
I do have another question to the Prime Minister.
Sure.
My question to the Prime Minister is, throughout the day, and you go to Facebook, there are people who are expressing concern of him going to Barbados. Prime Minister, what would you tell the people who are concerned that you made that trip to the cricket?
I have nothing to say to them.
All right, thank you, Linda. We have one other journalist online from Star FM. You may proceed with your question at this time, and we'll wrap it up for this evening. Mr. Roberts, you may go ahead. All right, so we have no more questions from our journalists online. We want to thank you all for joining us this evening, and I'll open the floor one more time for final comments from our panelists.
Okay. Well, just to reiterate, the latest advisories from the National Hurricane Center, and the fact is that Grenada is now under a hurricane warning. Grenada, along with Barbados, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Okay, the system is now located 680 miles to the southeast of Grenada. Maximum sustained winds have increased dramatically to 80 miles an hour. System is still moving westwards at 22 miles an hour, and that is a good thing. Fast moving forward speed is always a good thing. Okay. By the time it reaches our lat-long position, it is expected to intensify to a major hurricane. 115 miles is the estimated wind speed at the time. The current position and current track would take it through the Grenadine Islands early on Monday morning. So hence Grenada is under hurricane warning. So we do encourage the citizens to continue to listen to the updates from the Met Office. We try to do it every 3 hours as we get them from the National Hurricane Center, and we will keep you informed. Thank you.
Thank you. Doc?
Thank you very much. And the National Disaster Management Agency, we continue to provide information to the general population on the circumstances, the situation as it relates to Hurricane Beryl. Remember that we will be activating our National Emergency Operations Center and the District Emergency Operations Centers along with the shelters as of noon on Sunday, and we will continue to provide information to the general public. Now we urge you to be calm, and we've been asking people to be prepared all along, so now is the time that we should exercise our family disaster plans to ensure that our family and loved ones are safe, and listen to the information from NADMA so you will do what is necessary to preserve lives and reduce damage to property. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walters. And Prime Minister?
Sure, thank you. We just want to reiterate again that this is not a drill, that we need to take the preparations seriously. We need to ensure that we begin to secure our properties. We need to ensure that if there are, for example, any flying objects and so on outside of our homes, that we begin to secure them. We need to make sure that we understand what our disaster plans are, where our vulnerable citizens are located, particularly senior citizens, children. We need to make sure that we stock up on water in particular, because it will be taken from 9 p.m. on Sunday night, and water would be vital, particularly if the hurricane passes through Grenada, because public health will be an issue, and we want to make sure, therefore, that all citizens appreciate the risk that a natural disaster could pose to public health. But we will continue to provide information as and when we have it. In the meantime, notwithstanding the thorough briefing, the Prime Minister's Office, the Government Information Service, NADMA, the Met Office, and we certainly will be asking all our media personnel to join with us in making sure that we disseminate accurate and timely information to the public, as well as the do's and don'ts of preparing for a hurricane. NADMA would be sharing those together with the Prime Minister's Office. We would be reminding persons where the hurricane shelters are so they can identify the closest ones to them. NADMA will also identify those shelters which are able to provide access to persons who are physically challenged or differently abled. That is crucial, because we want to make sure that we are as inclusive as possible. We will make a definitive pronouncement as to whether or not there would be any work on Monday. In light of the fact that we are activating all our shelters, it is unlikely that we will have school on Monday, because most of our schools are in fact hurricane shelters, but we will provide that definitive response on Sunday as we continue to provide information to the public. So again, I want to urge, if we do not have to be on the road, let us please stay off the road. The rain that fell today had nothing to do with the storm. So I want to re-emphasize that the rain that fell today had nothing to do with the hurricane, and so the real test is yet to come. We expect that we will begin to feel the impact of the hurricane on Sunday, and so you will probably get a sense of when that is happening. We want to emphasize that it is not just Grenada. It is Grenada, it is the Grenadines, it is St. Vincent, it is Barbados. And so we are also praying for our neighbors, our brothers and sisters within that area, that the storm does not cause any damage to them, if it does not cause any damage to us. And Grenada will be on standby to help if called upon, as we know our brothers and sisters in the region are also on standby to help. As far north as the Bahamas and as far south as Guyana, I have been in communication with all of the prime ministers within the region. We are all paying attention to the hurricane, and we are all on standby to assist if we need to. A decision will be made on the hosting of the CARICOM Heads of Conference meeting in Grenada on Monday. After, hopefully, the system has passed through the region, we will be able to assess whether or not there is a need to do any changes in the meeting, but at this stage, the meeting is still on. So, thank you again to NADMA, thank you to the Met Office, thank you to all of the members of the National Emergency Advisory Council who've been paying attention and rolling out the various hurricane briefings as well as updates and beginning to roll out the hurricane plans. We want to assure the public that all of our stakeholders, all our sectors are involved and are ready to ensure that we do what is necessary to safeguard the public, both in terms of people and property. Thank you. Have a good night and continue to pray for not just Grenada but our brothers and sisters throughout the region who are under the hurricane warning. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. And I just want to echo Prime Minister's remarks and bid you a good night and stay safe.